We had the big blockbuster yesterday. Bradley Beal going to the Phoenix Suns, the Washington Wizards. Of course, Bradley Beal had a no-trade clause. It was between Phoenix, Miami, Milwaukee. He chose up. He wants to go play with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And in a second, I'll explain why the trade doesn't really move me. I don't really fear the Suns like that anymore because they don't have depth, but they part ways with Landry Shamet, who's been traded, it feels like, for the 15th time in his career. Chris Paul.
He was really bad this year for Phoenix.
He was not good. So now you got a new big three with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal.
So before we get to that portion, Mike Dunleavy was named the GM of the team last week. And I don't know, I've seen a lot of speculation on how much Kirk Lakeup or Joe Lakeup, how much influence they're going to have, and we don't know.
We don't know.
But I will say this. I don't care what organization you're running, even the Niners. We all believe Kyle Shanahan runs the organization. But I don't think that he acts unilaterally on any decision. I think there's a lot of groupthink, and I think every organization is that way. Very few are run the way the Patriots are run.
Yep.
Belichick does everything, which even then, I think it's got its minuses too, as much as it's had some pluses. But point that I'm getting at is, I think we're just sleeping on how good Dunleavy can be. Now, I don't know. Time will tell. It's really hard to nail two GMs back-to-back.
What are you saying about Dunleavy? Because on Friday, when I was talking to Alex
he's one of the most hated Warriors ever.
Yeah, but see, that's what I tried to explain on Friday. We need to separate what he did as a player to what he can do as a GM.
But if you say his name, I think most people...
They're scarred.
Yeah, they're triggered because Dunleavy. The symbolism of Dunleavy as a player was everything that was broken with the Warriors: drafting the wrong guy, developing him poorly, not empowering him, never really had the right position. We tried him at the 2, they tried him as a ball handler, as a 3. I think he would have been better in this era. But let's take a step back and let's see what makes you a successful GM in basketball. You've got to be a lifer.
Yeah.
Bob Myers was a basketball lifer, a junkie, if you will. He talked about that over and over and over and over again. Dunleavy was birthed in it.
Yeah.
His dad has been a basketball lifer. He's a basketball lifer.
Player, coach, GM, Mike Dunleavy Sr., still involved in the game. Hell, did you even know he was coaching college a few years ago at Tulane? I mean, the guy is a lifer. So Dunleavy Jr., to that point, and I said this on Friday, so I reiterate what I said. Basically, I've gotten to know Mike a little bit over the past few years since he's been named a scout with the Warriors back in 2018. And he's been around the team. The guy loves going on the road to scout players, development. Jordan Poole, from a lot of sources and a lot of people inside that organization, Dunleavy Jr. was high on Jordan Poole, high on him to take him late in the first round. And a lot of people said, oh, that's the worst pick of the first round. We don't know Jordan Poole. And it didn't start off pretty for JP. But JP got better and better and better, was a key contributor to a championship team. We know that. Dunleavy Jr. was all over that. He also, I know, loved Franz Wagner. Now, it's not to say he doesn't love Jonathan Kuminga, but he was high on Franz Wagner, who's turning out to be a damn good NBA player. The guy knows the game. He feels the game. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the spotlight that the Warriors have right now. He's been under Bob Myers, sitting next to him. And every single home game, you see Mike Dunleavy Jr. right next to Bob Myers, sitting there scouting, looking at players, negotiating or whatnot. So I'm not worried about Mike at all, like you. I think he's going to be a fine GM. However, there is one caveat here. How much influence will Joe and Kirk Lakeup have on Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the organization? Because I don't want it to become a Jerry Jones-like situation with the Dallas Cowboys. I get an owner wants to be involved in the business and be involved in all the group decision-making, but you can't make all the final decisions. So how much power will Mike Dunleavy Jr. have alongside the Lakeups? Will they give him the room to breathe a little bit, to make some big-time decisions, trades, draft picks, signings, whatever it is? How much influence will the Lakeups have on Mike Dunleavy Jr. and this organization moving forward? That's one thing I'm going to be looking for here in the future, Shasky.
There's no doubt. That's going to be something that I think that's going to have to play out over a long period of time, though. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no doubt.
And I also think that everybody what's his first move? What's his first move? What was Bob Myers' first move?
Yeah.
I mean, they were different. Obviously, they're in such a different spot, but I can't even remember. And I just think overall, GMs end up batting closer to 33% that are good than batting over 50%.
Right.
I'm talking about just all moves.
It's hard. You're not going to hit 100%.
No.
You're not going to hit on every pick, every signing, every trade.
And some of them that look bad now end up being good down the line, and vice versa. They look good early, and then they look bad down the line. It really depends. And so I don't know. I just want to go back to one thing, though. he was one of the most hated Warriors in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Bonte, like, it's Biedrins after he signed the extension. It's Kelly Oubre Jr. for the more recent memory. And even then, I think it was more toward the end of the year because he was only here 1 year.
Right.
Every possession that Dunleavy got the ball, he was booed at home. At home.
He was not.
My buddy Sully had his jersey, and we would destroy him when he would rock that jersey.
I mean, we would see him back in the day in a marina, man. We'd be like, oh, Mike Dunleavy Jr. Oh, man, what could have been? But you know what? Growing up in this profession, as we become more seasoned as broadcasters, you start to separate the person from the player to the GM or whatnot. And you got to get, like, okay, his failures as a player with the Golden State Warriors, it wasn't for a lack of trying.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So once you get that part, it's like, guy it didn't work out. It happens.
If you were to remove the Harbaugh year with Alex Smith, very Alex Smith-like.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, big expectations, probably overdrafted, had a good little run at the end of his college career.
Well, that's the thing. The national championship game.
Diluted
those
everything.
3 straight, and he looked like Larry Bird that game.
He did.
But you got to remember.
And we should have got Yao Ming that year.
And we should have got the number 1 pick. But also, you got to remember, he was the 3rd or 4th option on that basketball team. It was Jay Williams. It was Carlos Boozer. It was Shane Battier. Hell, Chris Duhon even had some big moments. And so,
was it Tyus Edney? Or was that prior?
Tyus Edney with UCLA. You think it's Trajan Langdon?
No, number 5, the little point guard, number 5. Chris Duhon. Was he not? Wow.
He was a freshman on that team.
Wow, it was Duhon.
Chris Duhon. Was
Started
he number
for the
5?
Warriors 1 year.
Yeah, Chris Duhon. And so, look, man, it didn't work out as a player. But the guy I've gotten to know as a GM. And look, great players don't always make great owners or great GMs. Look at Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan's terrible.
Steve Kerr was a role player who's turned into a great head coach.
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra didn't even play in the league. Pat Riley. So you can't judge Mike Dunleavy Jr. off the way he played. And by the way, he played for 15 years in the league.
I know. But he's also part of one of the great trades in Warrior history.
He is.
Him and Murphy getting sent to Indiana for Harrington and Stack Jack is one of the seminal moments in franchise history.
But anything we know about Joe Lacob, he wants to be surrounded by great basketball people. It's the first thing he did as an owner.
Obsessed.
You know what I'm saying? He was obsessed with William Avery. You're thinking about
William Avery was number 5. William Avery, what a great call. Undersized point guard.
Well, he's the point guard.
Left early.
Who left after his freshman year. They lost to UConn.
Yes.
Ripster Hamilton and company. Daniel Ewing was 5. Daniel Ewing.
Now we're going to go back here.
All right. But we'll get to Nick and Robin in just a second here. Hang on tight. I want to get this last point out. Where was I at here?
Regarding Dunleavy and what makes a great GM.
Oh, yeah. So the rapid rise, right? He's been there as a scout since 2018. So the Lakers have had a firsthand look at who he is and what he brings to the table. You just don't make a move like this to say, we're going to trust Dunleavy Jr., who doesn't have the experience, and he's rose through the ranks in our organization. Obviously, he's doing something well. Obviously, they believe in what he's about, his philosophy, and it's a lot like Bob Myers. Dunleavy Jr. is going to be fine. Very cool, calm, collected. I think Dunleavy, when you think about who he is, he's very professional, right? That's what you need. You need a professional in that room who knows how to work the room. You need a guy who's going to be calm. I think Dunleavy Jr. is very calm, and he's smart, man. The guy's a smart dude, so I think he's going to be fine. But again, how much will the Lakers be involved? I think they're smart enough to know when to back off and let Dunleavy Jr. do his thing.
So then let me ask you this one. With the news of Draymond, at least the speculation that he's going to opt out, does Dunleavy have major influence, final say, any sway regarding wanting Draymond back or not?
I'm not sure.
Doesn't that feel like one of the quote-unquote bigger decisions in franchise history, at least of recent memory?
I do. And I think Dunleavy Jr. has been with this organization now since 2018. He's been the assistant GM for the last couple seasons under Bob Myers. I think he will have influence on this roster in saying, hey, look, you want me to do a great job? We can't start behind the 8 ball in this salary cap hell, right? We're already in the tax. So how can we make sure with the new CBA rules coming into effect, how can we make sure this transition is easier while staying competitive while trying to slash some payroll here? I think the Lakers will listen to him. I really do. It's a tough decision to make. If Draymond Green does opt out, how heavily will the Warriors pursue him? $30 million a year. Whew. It's a lot of money here.
I could be reading the tea leaves way wrong here. This is just the feeling I get when I'm trying to listen to everything that's out there and just getting a feeling. It feels to me, with no knowledge, I have no knowledge of anything. I'm not talking to anybody or anything. It's the Mad Dog Russo.
Yeah.
No, but this is just my gut feeling. It feels like to me, both sides, Draymond and the Warriors, it feels like they're setting themselves up on either end of, we tried.
Yeah.
We really did. We wanted to come together. It just didn't work out. We couldn't give you X.
Right.
He wanted Y, and he's going to find that somewhere else. And maybe he makes a concession and goes somewhere else for lesser than what we thought. But it feels like both sides are setting it up via the media and who they're leaking things to. This is, again, my interpretation.
Right.
I'm not saying anybody's being used as a pawn. I'm just saying it feels like to me.
Sort of same situation with Bob Myers, right? Didn't it kind of work out like that?
Exactly.
Kind of played out like that.
Where it was like, hey, we offered you, we tried. I'm just not that into you right now because I want to do X, Y, and Z else, and I'm going to take some time off. This is my feeling.
Another thing too.
It's just my feeling.
Another thing too to think about: if Dunleavy Jr., because he was very influential in him and Kirk Lacob getting Jordan Poole. How do they feel about Klay Thompson now? Because his contract's going to come up and he's going to want to get paid. What are they going to do about that? There's two veterans right here where you're in a situation. Do you want to pay these guys big time money into their 30s? They're in their 30s now. I mean, we're talking about big money here with Draymond Green. And did he have that impact on the playoffs that he usually has? I don't know.
And the other part of this is it's a great question. I don't know about his impact on the team. And it's not just like what he did. It's what will he do moving forward?
Off the floor.
All of it.
All of it. The whole package.
And then, if you're going to do this thing, which, again, I'm just saying to people, you have to be realistic here. If you're going to say Kuminga really costs you, not just the $5 million, it actually costs you 5 times 4, which is $20 million because of the luxury tax. Well, then you need to do the same mathematics if Draymond opts in.
Yep.
So $30 million, $27 million this year times 4.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for Draymond.
A lot of money.
You did that for Kelly Oubre fans, and I get it. Draymond is a legend.
Much better than Kelly
He's a
Oubre
legend.
Jr.
But at the
you
same
have to project
time,
forward.
Exactly. And at the same time, if you're running a business, you have to say, well, if things are equal, is that chef really worth $250 an hour?